Can you hear me?
I hear you and I see you.
Well, I wish you a joyous Pesach celebration this week.
Thank you very, very much. And you too.
What are your plans?
My plans are to eat unleavened bread and to drink 4 cups of wine at the Leil HaSeder. And not
Are
eat
you
any
having,
bread.
are you having a meal with your family?
Of course, of course, of course, of course.
What are you having? What are you having? Moroccan cigars, or what are you having?
I'm having whatever my wife puts in front of me.
That is a good answer. That's a way to have a happy marriage.
That's the only answer that I have. What am I eating? What am I eating when my wife feeds me?
Very good. That's a another way of saying yes, dear.
Of course, of course.
Many different versions of yes, dear.
Listen, you're married. Did you say about 50 years?
56, I believe now.
56. Oh my gosh, I'm barely alive that long.
I
And,
know.
but I've been married now 25 years. We just had our 25th anniversary.
Well,
And I
congratulations.
learned, and I learned pretty early on about the right way to make sure that your marriage sticks around, or
Well,
so I hope.
well, for our viewers, maybe you can share a few of those points with us real quick.
You've already shared them all. All 7 letters. It's a mere 7 letters.
Yes, dear. Yeah, every almost married young man should be taught that lesson, how to say yes, dear.
Simple as that.
That's right.
But the fact is, we're laughing, of course. But the fact is that it's really true. When you put other people's, certainly your wife's preference over your own, not in a way that you feel, oh, I'll do this. No, but because you really want to do it.
Well, you just hit on the key to one of the great keys, of course, to a successful marriage is you within the balance of life, of course, without writing a book about it, we're just having a little statement or two. You live your life for the well-being of your spouse to help them fulfill God's purposes for their life and be the best human person they can possibly be in their humanity and in their serving of God and people. And if you both do that, then guess what? Both are happy.
I'm I'm just a little less not flamboyant, but less thinking about all that stuff. I say, you make your wife happy, and as a matter of fact, somebody smarter than me said something very pithy and that's very well known. Happy wife, happy life.
Absolutely.
So there you go. Not much to talk about once you get that down.
Very good.
So we've been just cleaning up the house.
Getting all that leaven out of the house.
That's right. That's right. And the leaven has expanded to include any kind of dirt or mess.
Of course. It's also important, of course. Naturally, this is a picture. God, I think the God of the Bible is the original show and tell creator as he gives all these pictures.
Yes.
And I love that the Jewish people have preserved these pictures for us in the Hebrew Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that searching for the leaven is a good picture that we should search for the leaven in our hearts and get that out of us too, as well as getting the leaven out of the dark corners of the closets. There's dark corners in the closets of our heart that we don't even know are there. But if we'll get the light of God's Spirit, like that little candle you go around the house with,
Right.
he'll shine it in those dark places, and we'll scoop it out. Careful not to touch the unclean thing. Get the little feather of God's word and scoop it out and burn it up and get rid of it and have a cleaner life. How about that?
You mentioned the candle, and that immediately brings to my mind a verse about God's candle. I don't remember where it is. Either you might remember or we can look it up. In Hebrew, it's Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam Chofes Kol Chadrei Baten. I think it's in Proverbs. And it doesn't sound actually the right translation because it's a little bit backwards. The candle of the Lord is the spirit of man, or the spirit of man, searches in all the rooms of the stomach. Does that sound like a biblical verse to you? Let me find out where it is. 1 second. Here we go. Google knows very quickly. Yes, in fact, it is Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 27. Let me quickly find out on Bible Hub and see what people have to say. That would be Proverbs.
Proverbs 20:27, you said. You getting there? There it is. The spirit of man is the candle of the Lord, or something like that. Oh,
the New International.
The lamp of the Lord. Right.
This is interesting. So the New Living Translation, I guess it's a relatively new translation because that's what it says. And it translates it in a way that might be better because it makes more sense. The Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam sounds like the Lord's candle is the spirit of the man. But here it says, Ner Hashem le Nishmat Adam. In other words, the candle acts upon the spirit of man.
The new that's very nice. I like that. That's very nice.
Because here's King James and Berean study seem to be identical, at least the first part. The spirit of man is the candle of the Lord. I don't understand how that makes sense. Maybe you can help me to try to accept the King James version.
It's just the way they translated it for whatever.
Yeah, but does it make sense? How does it make sense?
I was not there when they decided on how to translate that. I don't know, but I do like the New Living Translation. Let's look at that again. The Lord's light penetrates
the human spirit.
I love that.
Okay. So that went a little bit too far. I would say the candle of the Lord, ignites is a flame. How do you turn on a light? You something a light.
Illuminates,
yes. The Lord's candle illuminates the human spirit.
That's a good word too. Well, in Ecclesiastes, it says that God has put eternity in our hearts. That's kind of a cousin way, of saying that we have inside of us an awareness of our Creator, so that we're all without excuse if we deny Him. And so there's also a scripture in Zechariah, I can't remember, don't ask me.
No, don't go over to other scriptures. I'm just trying to understand this one.
Okay.
This is over here in the American Standard Version. The spirit of man is the lamp of Jehovah, which is the same way as saying the lamp of Jehovah is the spirit of man.
Let's look here at the let's see.
But how can that be understood? How can you understand that the spirit, a man's own spirit, searches his own parts, his own inner parts?
Hey, look at the Holman. That looks pretty good. Holman Christian Standard Bible.
Yeah, the sheds light
on a person's life, searching the innermost parts. That's nice.
Okay, so here he translates it as life. I think that's a little bit. Pushing the envelope to translate nishmat as the life. Without the neshama, then you couldn't have a life. But I wouldn't call that the life. Chayim. The Bible has a pretty good word for life. It doesn't need to take the word neshama and use it as life. It's similar.
The Amplified is interesting. Go back up. We saw the Amplified there somewhere. I don't remember.
Yeah, here it is.
Oh, the spirit. Now he says conscience of a man is the lamp of the Lord. Searching.
Yeah, that was the difficulty. That was my difficulty in translating the word neshama.
Yeah, I understand.
There it is. Soul. I saw that here. The Aramaic Bible in plain English. The soul. A neshama is the soul, really.
The soul of the children of men is the lamp of Georgia, and it says.
I don't know where this children came from. Don't worry about the true man. And this is the only one that seems to the Septuagint like belly, but nobody else does. But really, that's where it says over there. Batan is the belly.
Right. It's interesting to look at all these different ways of seeing it.
Of course. You come over towards the end, you got here the literal. Okay, as literal as it is, it put it in backwards order. The lamp of Jehovah is the breath of man. Again, neshama is nishima. They're related. Nishima means breath, but neshama means soul, I think. And well, come on, this isn't literal. The heart isn't the stomach. So Young, you've disappointed me in this verse. That I like looking at the literal. Maybe this because the literal translations usually they're better. Usually they really are literal, but this one blew it on both sides.
Sometimes I've found I can't give you any exact examples. Maybe that's an example. The literalness can sometimes become so narrow in its wording that it can become awkward and actually miss the spirit of what the scripture is trying to say.
That's for sure. You need because you can't, because the spirit exists, like you said, in the Hebrew, but also the Hebrew exists in the Hebrew. So if you go just to the spirit without the Hebrew, without the actual meaning of the phrase of the words, then you've gone a little far, and then all you're going to be left with is be a good person or love Jesus. The number, but there are tens, hundreds of thousands. How many? There are 990. There are 900 verses. Let's say between the Old Testament and the New. Let's put the New Testament aside for a second. The Old Testament has 929 chapters. And each chapter, I would say, has on the average 20 verses. So that's about 2,000 verses. And each verse, I would say, on the average, has about 8 words in Hebrew. Let's say 10 words in Hebrew. So that's about, what did I say, 1,000, 20,000, about 200,000 words in the Bible.
That's a lot. I wrote it down.
But if you say all I care about is the message, then who needs all those words?
And here's what I wrote down. I don't know if this is accurate. I haven't counted every one of them, but I wrote down that they're including both testaments in the Bible, 31,102 verses. 23,145 in the Hebrew Bible, 7,975 in the New Testament, for a total, in the translations, of course, 788,280 words. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the translations, English is a much wordier language than Hebrew. I would say that there's, yeah, it's about, now if you say 700, okay, 700,000 including the New Testament, we weren't talking about the New Testament. Just the Old Testament, I said it was, and I might be wrong, but you just told me that you counted something in the Old Testament. So we all know, give or take 1 or 2 chapters, there are 929 chapters in the Old Testament.
Okay.
And each chapter has on the average 20 verses. So that's about 20,000 verses. How many did you count or did you find?
That's very good. This says 23,145.
Sounds right. That sounds
very
right.
Close. Very close.
There are some chapters that have much more than and there are some books that have more. Anyway, there you go. So the Bible, again, the Bible without the Hebrew, it's like the soul without a body, which is very nice. But we live in a world that has bodies. You can't access the souls without the body. And that's why God gave this Torah. That's why God gave this Bible, because he knew that we were people in a world that had bodies. If we only lived in the world to come, in the spiritual realm, then we maybe wouldn't need the Torah.
I'm right. That's very good. I'm right now in the middle of writing a lesson on the importance of Christians understanding the Hebraic roots of our faith. And one of the points is that we have to have a context to the stories in the Bible. And it's natural and understandable that people, wherever they live in the world, they have a tendency to read the Bible within their own culture and context.
Of course.
And to reinterpret it in their own world, which it could mean something different than what it meant in the Bible. So I try, and my friends try to help Christians get a biblical context of the stories, and not just, as we say, take them out of context and then make them mean whatever you want them to mean. Yeah, that doesn't work, So I guess our body is the context for our soul. That's what.
Very nice.
Yes. So your soul has to live in something. Just can't be running around. So we might say someone has a good soul. What do we mean by that? Well, we mean they're an honorable person, but how do we know that? Because they express that through their bodies, the things they do and things they say and how they act and behave themselves. So that's a reflection of who they are.
My understanding, and again, I may be wrong about this, but what comes to my mind is one of the morning prayers that the Jews say, Elohai neshama shenatata bi Torahi. And this, there might be a difference in some Christian ideology here. God, the soul that you have given me is pure. In other words, and also, Elohim bara et ha'adam yashar v'hem bikshu cheshbonot rabim. God created man straight, and they tried to find all sorts of calculations. You familiar with that verse? Let me try to find that one. 1 second.
Yeah, you're right. We have a little different view of that. Our view is not quite as positive as yours.
Elohim bara et ha'adam yashar. It's in Ecclesiastes 7:29. You want to look that up? Or 1 second.
Just throw it up on the screen. I just finished studying Ecclesiastes, and I guess I went past that one. course,
Well, you never finished.
Of course, you know, the writer, if that is Solomon, you know, he's not giving a very, you don't take his words as doctrine, you know. He's telling about how he's had all these things of the world and they haven't proven to be so fulfilling to him, you know.
Right. Well, some of it, yeah, Ecclesiastes, that's one of my least favorite books of the Bible. Hard to understand. Some of them are really good, of course. Here we are.
What verse?
7:29.
Okay. Well, you know, the way
I have discovered that man made men upright, but they have sought out many schemes.
Right. The way we would understand is that Adam and Eve were created that way, but they didn't stay that way. And unfortunately,
but Solomon saw the people around him. You're saying that God made man straight, but a day later, he went bad, and therefore all the rest of the men that God made, they're not straight. No, I think that this verse is saying that every man has the opportunity to be straight, except that because of their bodies, which is what I want to say, they're in interaction with the world today. They decided to go after their evil inclination and find their schemes.
We have a free will to do good or do evil. That's
exactly.
Very true. And unfortunately, sometimes even the good things that people do are tainted with wrong motives. So I think God looks at the heart and not the outward. Well, we know that because,
of course,
when Samuel was trying to find the next king, he looked at all of the sons who were big and weightlifters. He said, "Oh, this will be a great king." and the word came. Man looks on the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart.
That's right. That is from 1 Samuel.
So this
chapter 16, verse 7.
This little shepherd boy didn't seem like he was the likely candidate, but God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. But we started off, it was all part of it, that God has put an awareness within us of good and evil and right and wrong. And the fact that we have that in us is a testimony and a witness that there is a moral creator that we are accountable to. How do we know how do we know right and wrong? Why would we even have a sense of that if there wasn't a right and wrong creator who put that inside of us? And so I think people like to push that down because they don't want to think about being accountable to this moral creator, you know. So, but the fact that evil people do their deeds in darkness, why do they do them in darkness? Because they know they're not good and they don't want to be done in the light. So we have built inside of us an awareness of, well, as Ecclesiastes does say, God's put eternity in our hearts.
Very interesting.
We have an awareness that there is a creator who made us in his image, not physical image, but other ways that means. And so whether you had a Bible ever had a Bible or not, you know inside you there's somebody who made you, and you need to try to live your life to honor your creator.
Right. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here. You're doing a pretty good job of it, I would say.
No, I don't think so. but I appreciate that. But that goes back to how we started searching for the leaven ritual, is to ask God's Spirit, who knows us better than we know ourselves, to shine his light down in our hearts to see, as King David said, is there any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting? This is what can you imagine the leaders of our governments saying this prayer? King David, the monarch, saying this prayer: create within me a clean heart, renew a right spirit within me. He was saying, open me up as a burnt offering, inspect me, see if there's anything in there that shouldn't be there, and cleanse me and make me whole. What a different world it would be if the Knesset leaders and the Washington leaders came together with that humble attitude towards God. My Lord, help us, please, from our mouth to your ears. May it be so.
I think I hear somebody talking about a Senate run for himself.
I'm not running for Congress. No, thank you. I'm running from them. So what's going to happen now? Are you going to have new elections?
I don't know. Frankly, right now I'm thinking, what am I going to do about our oven that just got broken? We have to fix it or buy a new one. That's a lot more important about whether there's going to be elections or not.
Okay, right.
But tell me, are you going to participate in a Passover Seder this week?
Well, thank you for inquiring. I'm so blessed. I'm scheduled with God's help to go up to McKinney with our friends there that you know, and lead the Seder there this weekend. So I'm looking forward.
Oh, great! So you can bring up some of the things that we've been talking about.
Oh, that'll all be part of it, of course. Absolutely, yeah.
Very nice. So I think that let's see, I've got 3 married kids and 2 unmarried kids. The youngest unmarried one is going to be by us. The oldest is not. She's with friends somewhere. My younger married is with his in-laws, and I think, and also my other son is also with in-laws. So that makes our oldest, well, not our oldest grandchildren with us. So yes, and she's nearby here. There you go.
Very good, very good.
So that means that we're gonna have my unless she gives birth, she's due any day. My goodness.
Oh my! What if she had a Passover? What if she had a Passover baby? Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. So my youngest was born on Shabbat Chol HaMoed Pesach, on the Sabbath of the intermediate days of Passover. So my wife, again, this was 18 years ago. So we participated in the Seder, and then a few days later we went to the hospital and she gave birth.
Wow.
My other grandson's, gosh, I don't remember. Let me see if I wrote it down over here when his birthday was.
Did she give birth?
Nachman Simcha was born in February, and Yosef Adin was born in October. So they're gonna have a sister who's born in April.
So
Someday.
you got a Purim baby, a Passover baby, and a Tabernacles baby.
Exactly. And my oldest daughter was born on Erev Shavuot, the day before the holiday of Pentecost, as he translated into English.
Right.
That's
beautiful.
Yeah, so it's much easier for me to remember the season of their birthdays than the actual dates. Certainly not an American. Forget about that.
Absolutely. Well, that's beautiful. And I just pray it'll be a very meaningful experience for your whole family.
Thank you very, very much. And I wish that I could be with you at the Seder in McKinney. Then we would be having this conversation in real life with many other people participating. It would be wonderful.
We might go into the wee hours of the morning.
Like it says over there. No, talking about
Yes.
the wee hours of the morning, I don't want to stay up too late cleaning tonight. So I got to get back to cleaning now. So we will conclude this. Don't leave so far. We're going to have a little talk in a moment, but we'll conclude this conversation. Let me just check next week what our schedule is like, what my schedule is like. One moment. Shnia. Next week, I see a Monday.
Are we back
Right
to Monday?
now, I have nothing scheduled. But if I'll have something scheduled, I will send you an email. The things are starting to fill up with my family. That's the way it usually is. They remember the
Let's
last name.
just put it in pencil, not ink. But
Exactly.
pencil for next Monday. How's that?
At the same time.
All right.
Okay, hold on one second.